Thank you everyone, thank you for travelling to be with us today. What a great protest we had earlier today. Typical response from the Islamists who run Ditchbury Mosque. What a rotten establishment that is. As we know, terrorists, imams calling for jihad, that place needs closing down immediately. There may have been 30, 40 of us out of that mosque today, but hundreds of thousands of people will see that on social media. So thank you for everyone who's come as far afield as the North East. I know people come from Northern Ireland, from the Republic of Ireland. I just want a big round of applause for all those who've travelled far distances to be with us today. Big round of applause. I want to talk mainly about the suffering that myself and our Deputy Leader Jada Franson we've endured over the last few years. And you can everyone settle down back? Settle down up the back, please. Thank you. Settle down. Right. So as you know, the people who lead movements like ours that go against the grain, that pop our heads above the parapets, that speak the truth bravely against the establishment, the leaders of groups like ours face persecution, demonisation, vilification from the state, from the media, and so on and so forth. Because as far as they're concerned, you put enough pressure on any human being, they'll crack, they'll fold, they'll surrender. I've been to prison twice. The first time for confronting a hate preacher, imam, in Cardiff, who said to his worshippers, all caught on tape, all recorded, he said that it's okay for Muslims to keep sex slaves because Muhammad did. I went down there organising a team that entered the mosque to confront him. The reaction by the state was to arrest me and throw me in prison for organising the activities on that day. They dragged me into the High Court. Some politically correct left-wing goon of a judge found me guilty, condemned me, said that the judiciary needs to back the police up because our country's going through a difficult time. And they threw me in the shithole of Pentonville Prison in North London. A prison that's 170 years old, run by Muslim gangs. As soon as I arrived, I could see what the hell was going on inside this prison. I think at least 50% of the inmates were Islamic, and the rest were gang members. And obviously you can imagine me walking through the front desk, getting ready literally for battle. I knew that I was in there for just a month, just 4 weeks, but I knew going in there I was going to have to fight for my life every day. Instead of allowing me to mingle with the everyday general population, they put me into segregation for a whole month. Didn't let me out, 24 hours a day I was on lockdown. They only let me out to grab my food straight back in my cell. I was in solitary confinement for a whole month. Well, as soon as I came out, I published a video condemning the government, condemning the injustice in this country, and I warned every single politician, journalist and member of the judiciary, they can persecute us now, they can treat us in a way that's contemptible now, but one day the boot will be on the other foot. And hundreds of thousands of people saw that video. I said the boot will be on the other foot one day. If you cross the line now, you will face good old-fashioned British justice for the crimes you commit now. So be warned. And then you know, a poor 16-year-old English girl walked in to a kebab shop in Ramsgate on the north coast of Kent. An Afghan migrant immigrant gang seized her, grabbed her. You can just imagine the terror that poor girl, what she was going through. This immigrant Afghan paedophile gang seized her, dragged her upstairs and gang raped her at least 4 times each. There was 4 lots of DNA found on this young girl, 4 lots. And do you know what the judge did? He bailed the lot of them. He let them back out on the streets. He allowed them back out to run their kebab shop. Despite DNA evidence, he released them until their trial. So me and Jada and several other activists, we printed up special leaflets and we simply went to certain roads. We tracked down where these bastards lived, these Afghan paedophile gang rapists. And we simply went and warned all of the neighbours on the roads where these disgusting animals lived. A few weeks later, me and Jada were driving down the road just outside of Tunbridge on our way to something, can't remember. All of a sudden, 15 police cars appear out of nowhere. A roadblock was set up. Police pounced all over our car, confiscated our sat-nav, our phones. They dragged us off. It is unbelievable, like an SAS ambush. It's absolutely outrageous. And we quickly learned we've been arrested for religiously aggravated harassment of these paedophile Afghan gang rapists. Couldn't bloody make it up. Anyway, fast forward to our trial. Once again, a politically correct left-wing goon of a judge finds me and Jada guilty. Surprise, surprise. Sentences us both to months and months in prison. Jada got twice as long as me, which is why she's not here with us today. Her licence conditions end on the 13th of next month. That Saturday, immediately after that, a few days later, we're holding our Britain First National Conference, and we didn't want to hold it until she'd been released. We didn't want to hold it in her absence. Next month she will be free of restrictions, and she will be back with full maximum force, just like I was when my restrictions ended. They expect that when I was sent to prison, I was sent up to HMP Elmley on the Isle of Sheppey in North Kent. 4 days in to my sentence, the Muslim gangs in the prison, I could already see they were plotting and planning. I warned the governors, I warned the landing staff, I warned the reps that were on the wing. I said, these guys here, look around, are plotting and planning something. The very next day, a Muslim gang burst into my prison cell and launched an attack on me and then ran out of my cell. I walked outside absolutely covered in blood, and what did they do? They put me down the block, put me in solitary confinement for another 5 weeks. First week I didn't even have a TV. First week, not even a TV, just books to read. 5 weeks in solitary confinement for being attacked, and then 6 in the morning they burst into my cell. The prison staff shipped me up to HMP Liverpool, where I kept my head down for the last 3 weeks. When I was released from prison and walking towards the gates, looking forward to my freedom, I was met at the prison gates by 2 carloads of plain-clothes SO-15 counter-terrorism command officers who seized me and informed me that I was going to go down by being taken, forcibly if necessary, not to where I live, back to my family so I can relax. No, I'm being taken to a shitty, disgusting bail hostel in West London in a multicultural area to stay there for another 2 months. That's where Jada is right now. She's sitting in a disgusting probation hostel. They won't release her. They released me after 5 weeks. She's been there for nearly 3 months so far. They will not release her to go home to her family and her pet dog who she loves so much.
This is scum.
Now, the law has changed in this country. When you're in prison for longer than 3 months, you're given, when you're released and your licence ends, you're given a whole year of probation. It applies to everyone who's been in prison for longer than 3 months. So now I'm on a year of post-sentence supervision, which runs out next May. I applied recently. I was invited, along with my team, to the European Parliament to meet all the top patriotic, Euro-nationalist MEPs from the Front National, France, Belang and so on. I asked my probation officer if it would be okay for me to travel to the European Parliament to meet with democratically elected officials. They said no. The next week I asked them, I said, look, I haven't been on holiday in over 2-3 years. Can I go to Lanzarote for a week? I'll give you all the information you could possibly desire. No, you're not allowed to go. If you want to go on holiday, go somewhere in the UK. Where the hell is there to holiday in the UK? The Cheadle Riviera, of course. But I can tell you now, when November the 3rd comes, next month, Jada will be back out on the streets, unreturned and unbound. As Paul mentioned very kindly, when they released me from Pentonville prison, I swung back straight into action. When they released me from prison this time, I swung immediately back into action because I am not allowed. I am not allowing the police, the state SO15 counter-terrorism command, the Home Office of Police, I'm allowing none of them to slow me down and deny me my democratic rights that my own family fought and died for. To hell with the lot of them. So we came out and we've been active over and over and over again. You've seen us all over the country. We've caused a stir everywhere we've been. We've been to Bradford, Huddersfield, and we've been to Manchester, now we've been to the Finchley Mosque. We've been all over the country, all over Northern Ireland. This pace of activity is going to continue. Another way they've tried to silence this movement is by closing us down on social media. We've lost our Twitter accounts, we've lost our YouTube accounts, we lost our Facebook pages. All of this was done when I was in prison about 3 days in. I was watching Prime Minister's Question Time, and I think it was a Labour MP jumped up and thanked and congratulated Facebook for having the guts to close down the Britain First fan pages. This is why I was eating my lunch in a prison cell. It was on Prime Minister's Questions. You can imagine the shock and the horror that I felt at that moment, knowing that we was going to lose 2.7 million of our supporters around the world. The biggest online social media support base ever built in Europe. More than Labour and Conservatives.
They'll come back.
But more about that later.
Unless they're treacherous.
But they're trying to close us down by using a new term called hate speech, which is simply free speech that liberals and the left do not like. If you condemn, if you oppose immigration, if you oppose radical Islam, if you oppose political correctness, then you will be labelled hate speech and the social networks will close you down. How many people do you know have been closed down on YouTube, on Twitter, on Facebook?
5 times!
When I was sitting in my cell, I formulated a bit of a plan. I said, when I get out, I'm going to register Britain First and myself and Jada, everything in Northern Ireland. Because of the peace process and the Good Friday Agreement, Genoats, because of the Good Friday Agreement and the peace process, they've got some of the toughest political discrimination laws in Europe. So I said, you know what, we'll register there. As soon as we registered in Northern Ireland, I set up certain Facebook pages, I laid certain bear traps for Facebook. Every single one of them closed down. A month later, we're raising funds from our supporters. Boom! The paperwork's got in. The Northern Ireland Belfast High Court. We are suing Facebook for political discrimination. This is not just a battle for Britain First, it's a battle for everyone who is opposing the policies that are destroying the Western world. Because once we break that dam, we get we could have literally by next February an injunction ordering Facebook to reinstate all of our pages. Can you imagine the knock-on effect for other people? I know For Britain, they've lost their Twitter page. I know that Liam Tufts has lost his Facebook page, 1.5 million people. InfoWars has been taken down. Once they see Britain First leading the way, getting an injunction against Facebook in Northern Ireland, hopefully the dam will break, everyone will follow suit, and we can teach these social networks a lesson that we will not be silenced. And of course, no one on the left of politics has been shut down. If you haven't been shut down on Facebook or any of the others, then the government, the state, is not worried about you. Do you remember when Theresa May in Parliament, she thanked the Home Secretary for working with Facebook to get our Facebook pages closed down? This was a government operation to try and destroy Britain First, to send both our leaders to prison, to shut all our Facebook pages down, to cut us off from millions of our supporters. And do you know what? We came out stronger than ever, more active than ever, and it's about time that we made a stand against the people who destroyed. Don't try and tell me that there wasn't government involvement. Theresa May gave it away by saying she thanks the Home Secretary for working with Facebook to close Britain First down. Why was I met at the gates of HMP Liverpool by 2 carloads of SO15 counter-terrorism command officers? This was a concerted effort to destroy Britain First before we got too big to handle, too big to manage by the establishment. Because they fear Britain First, they fear the riots, what we've achieved in just 5 years, millions of supporters around the world. They fear us, and that's why they're targeting us. That's why Jada is not here. That's why we faced injunctions. That Excuse me, sir. That's why we faced injunctions. That's why we faced arrests. That's why we faced prison. That's why everything's been closed down. We've had payment systems closed down. The level of stress and persecution, everything being closed down, is horrendous. It's been going on for years now. So it's an absolute miracle that this movement is still functioning and operational.
Yes!
But their plan is to grind us down. Their plan is to force us to give up, to surrender, to buckle under the pressure. Well, can I ask you now, has it worked so far?
No surrender.
People like us and myself and Jada, we don't have breaking points. The more they throw us, the more we throw back. We've never been so active, had so much support during the, in our entire history than we have right now. Because we've been all over the country, you've seen it. It's been an electrifying reboot of our movement. We've been active 2-3 times a week for months on end now. Another announcement. We've got news from Belfast yesterday, on Friday, from our solicitors. The trial date for me and Jada for hate speech in Belfast has finally been set for January the 14th and the 15th. Paul Rimmer, I know you're up for hate speech as well. And John Banks, where's he? He's up for hate speech. Right. There's about 4 or 5 of us that were arrested after criticising Islam and condemning terrorism in Belfast. It's the latest effort by the state to try and send a lot of us to prison. But they can send me to prison 100,000 times. I will simply come out of prison and start again. Every time they send me to prison and Jada to prison or anyone else, it just makes us more determined that we are fighting a corrupt, rotten, anti-British establishment that needs opposing to our last drop of blood. And we will never give up, we will never surrender. No surrender for us. It's not just a slogan, it's a way of life. It's right down to the core of our bones. Because we're the ones who built this country, we're the ones who defended it through innumerable wars in the skies, at the Battle of Britain, Normandy, in the trenches, in the Napoleonic Wars, defeating the Spanish Armada. Our people have suffered and died in their millions. So that we will have a country to hand down to future generations of our people. And it's about time our people rediscovered their British Churchillian backbone. This is what Britain First is about. We are not just an ordinary political party like the Lib Dems or the SNP. We're a movement, we're a spiritual revival. We're an attempt to bring back the old-fashioned values that made this country great. We're a declaration of war against a rotten left-wing establishment that's selling us down the river, that's selling us out, that's betraying us. Our war heroes would be turning in their graves if they could see our country as it is now.
Civil servants.
Because if you go to London, you go to Luton, you go to Birmingham, that is not the country that our war heroes fought for. And by God, we will save our country, we will take our country back, and if not, we will die trying.
Stand up for ourselves.
Whether it's Monty, whether it's Churchill, whether it's the Tommies, whether it's the Spitfire and Hurricane pilots, looking down on us right now, urging us to stand up and be proud and to emulate their example. I will not sit on my arse as my country is abolished, dismantled and raped by the liberal left, Islam, the EU, all of the traitors, the media, the journalists, the lot of them. We've declared war on the entire establishment and we will carry on until we are victorious.
Come on, England. We are realists.
Don't think for one moment if, when this speech goes online, and whether it's SO15, the media, journalists, politicians, probation service, anyone out there watching, take note, and I'll repeat this again. One day the boot will be on the other foot, and if you've undermined democracy or freedom of speech, then you will suffer good old-fashioned British justice for raising a hand against this country. And that is not an idle threat. I can tell everyone now, one day the boot will be on the other foot and we will give them justice. All of them, from Tony Blair to David Cameron, Gordon Brown, Theresa May, everyone who's betrayed this country will feel the wrath of good old-fashioned British justice. Come on, mate. So thank you for coming today. It's a real honour. It's my life's greatest honour to lead this movement and to build it. And although I suffer greatly as leader of this movement, and I've seen real horrors and the stress, you wouldn't believe it, it's unbelievable. But I can only say to you, I'm not interested in money or career or reward. I'm only interested in serving the children of our country so that they have a future in our great, great country. So if you love your country, if you want to do something for your country, if you want to take action, if you want to get active on the streets, then now is the time to join Britain first.
Yes.
Stop waiting, take the plunge. Now's the time. Let's take over Britain.
Manchester! It's a privilege for us, mate.
Free Melanie Shaw!
It's got to be all that.